Okay, if you're at all familiar with my channel, you probably know I was one of the first reviewers to predict the OG J2K being the top paddle of 2024. Be sure to watch that review if you haven't, because I break down a lot of what makes Honolulu's paddle selection so unique when it comes to their current surfaces. Also, if you think there's a paddle more worthy of the top paddle slot of the year, definitely let me know in the comments. And while I still think the J2K is my favorite of the year and one of the easiest to recommend, Honolulu is a company that refuses to rest on their laurels and is always iterating and trying to level up. And they go through a lot of prototypes and designs. If you stick around to the end of the video, I'll tell you a little more about the new surfaces and designs they've been working on. You won't want to miss that. But first, I want to take a closer look at a version of the J2K that's one of my personal favorites, and that's the J2K Pro in 16mm. This is a review I've been wanting to do for a really long time. And the only reason the J2K Pro hasn't replaced the OG J2K for top paddle of the year in my eyes is just because I think it's got a slightly higher learning curve than the non-pro version. That being said, I think it's got a way wider appeal than pretty much every review I've seen on it makes it seem, and that's really why I wanted to make a dedicated review. In fact, I'm pretty convinced almost every YouTube reviewer of this paddle had the pre-production version, so this particular review is long overdue. And that's because what I have right here is not the prototype version. This is the exact version of the J2K Pro that's going out to customers. And to just boil things down, this thing is freaking awesome. But before we get into it, I want to let you know Honolulu's letting me give one of these babies away for free, so be sure to stick around until the end of the video to see how to enter. But if you want to get a head start, you can go ahead and subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell. Now let's talk specs. While the J2K Pro recently got the 14mm treatment, we'll be talking about the 16mm version for this review. The J2K Pro is a 60mm paddle. Its face is 100% aramid fiber DuPont Kevlar, and it's the black power weave. The shape is hybrid. It's thermoform unibody with perimeter edge foam. It's got a polypropylene core. The dimensions are 16.2 by 7.8 inches. The grip length is 5.5 inches. The grip circumference is 4.125 inches. The average weight is 7.9 to 8.2 ounces. The advertised swing weight is 113 to 115. The advertised twist weight is 7.05, and it includes Honolulu's really nice waterproof paddle cover with that hanging clip. And there's a 6-month warranty, and the price is $145 after you use promo code MatthewKevlar to knock off 20 bucks. Okay, so the J2K Pro plays really similarly to the J2K, but the black power weave is tighter and is supposed to be poppier and more powerful, and that's absolutely how it plays. The power is probably very close to, or maybe a tad more than the J2H, which has Honolulu's very cool and under the radar face that includes fiberglass. And fiberglass just adds some really crisp pop and additional power to your hits by being a bit stiff and shortening the dwell time of the ball on the paddle face. That kind of surface is similar to what you see in 6-Zero's Black Diamond Power or 11624's Hirachi X Control Plus. But what's different with the J2K Pro compared to these power paddles that utilize fiberglass is that the J2K Pro has all that power and very comparable pop, but with a bit more dwell time, giving you more opportunity to shape the ball. And while the J2K Pro isn't as plush as the non-pro version, you've got plenty of time to add spin and target, especially compared to faces that have fiberglass. That being said, I still added some tungsten to help stable out my hits and keep pop-ups down, and I found the spot I like best was a little higher than normal, so not right at the bottom corners like I usually do, but just a little above that. And my go-to weight recommendation is Bodie's tungsten tape, which comes in both 0.5 grams per inch and 1 gram per inch versions, or this really cool pre-cut tungsten from Enhanced Pickleball. That one costs a little more, but I love how it's the exact same footprint as the old pre-cut lead. I have links for both in the description, and promo code MatthewK will save you some money with either as well. So after customizing the J2K Pro a bit, I was able to get my game dialed in really well and thought this thing was just a ton of fun. And unlike the prototype that I think most reviewers were checking out, the production model has incredible spin and grab with Honolulu's surface treatment. And that's super important since there's less dwell time with that tighter Kevlar weave. And while it's more powerful and poppier than the J2K, I'd probably still classify the J2K Pro as all court or like all court plus. I don't want to call it a full-on power paddle because the control is just so good with it. I just really love how Honolulu does their 60mm cores. The ball feels so secure when you hit, and it really complements my control leaning style of play. That being said, if a banger grabbed this, I'm sure they'd call it a power paddle all day. If you want to swing hard, the J2K Pro has everything you need to blast the ball. Thermoforming, a thick 16mm core, edge foam, unibody, all of it. So it's got all the power ingredients you could ask for, plus that altered face with that additional pop coming from the tighter weave. For me, I like to take advantage of that built-in power at the baseline as well as on my putaways, but then I like to dial back and play with the Pro as if it was just a really fresh J2K up at the kitchen. But I do like knowing the power is there if I ever need it. So who's the J2K Pro for? Well, I think this is for anyone that loved the J3K Pro and that level of pop and power, but prefers a hybrid shape. Or someone that loves the J2K or the 6-0 Ruby, but wants faster action off the face or more power with their bigger swings. Also, if you've been holding off grabbing a J2K Pro because early reviews made you feel it was too uncontrollable or didn't have enough spin or grab, I think that's all been improved upon with the production models. I also like how the J2K Pro plays a lot quicker in the hands than the J7K or the J7K Pro, which I've also reviewed. For me, nothing beats this shape. The J2K Pro is just great at the kitchen with some crazy hand speed with a really forgiving 7.05 twist weight, and it has just enough plow through power with that 113 to 115 swing weight to get everything done you need to at the baseline. And with the Pro in particular, that extra pop is just enough to keep your paddle playing fresh for a really long time. And then of course, I think Honolulu's value for what you get is pretty unbeatable. A great performing paddle, a super nice paddle cover, and a good warranty. And after promo code Matthew Kevlar, the J2K Pro only costs $145, which I think is super competitive. So the J2K Pro is a super impressive paddle that really reveals how Honolulu is always experimenting and pushing their design. As for what else they've been working on, you probably already know about the J2 Titanium, which is available now. Promo code Matthew K will give you a discount with this one. And this paddle utilizes titanium, or what's being called titanium within pickleball, in its face material. If I haven't posted a review of this one already, I will be soon. But there are a few more designs Honolulu has been working on. This is called the C2, which is an early prototype of their take on a Gen 1.5 paddle. I believe they plan to release a version closer to the current hybrid shape rather than this one with the more dramatic flare. Then this is a version of the J2 with a KFC face, or a Kevlar, fiberglass, and carbon fiber face. And the owner at Honolulu told me this will probably be released next year, but possibly in a different form. And now this one here is called the J2Q. And this thing looks freaking crazy. My understanding is this is some kind of Kevlar carbon fiber weave. Right now though, Honolulu doesn't have plans to bring it to market. Okay, that's the sneak peek, and that's pretty much all I've got. I think it's awesome that Honolulu is always experimenting and pushing the envelope, and I think the 16mm J2K Pro is an excellent example of how their iterative process can result in a super fine-tuned, high-performing paddle. I could definitely see myself making this my main, and I think lots of other folks could too, if they're willing to put in the time to dial it in and get used to it. That extra pop and power is super nice to have and is credibly manageable compared to a lot of the power paddles and Gen 3 paddles coming out right now. As for the giveaway, all you need to do is like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and comment which of those Honolulu experiments I mentioned before you're most excited about. And then fill out the Google form in the description so I have a way to contact you if you win. That's it. The raffle will be in about a month, so be on the lookout for an email. Good luck. And thank you so much for watching. I'll be sure to leave a link in the description for Honolulu's site. Don't forget to use promo code Matthew Kevlar to knock off that 20 bucks on the Kevlar lineup. And promo code Matthew K Sell works on Supercell paddles, and my normal promo code Matthew K works on everything else, including the new Titanium J2. Also leave some links and codes for some other cool paddles and paddle companies. Be sure to check those out. And I have a list of some of my favorite pickleball accessories down there in the description as well, so don't be afraid to click around. Using those links and codes does help me and helps the channel, so it's always appreciated. And please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. All of that helps me a ton as well. But most importantly, I hope you get to pickle soon, and just don't forget, it's about having fun.